Future Adelaide, just jumping in here to let you know that I had a little bit of mic trouble in this video. So there's a little bit of bumping and breath noises in the video, and I tried to get rid of as many as possible, but unfortunately, they are present. So apologies for the sound quality. I will do better next time. Hello, and welcome to today's video. Today, I want to redesign Barbie Dreamfest. As we all know, Barbie Dreamfest was a garbage fire. A lot of people have compared it to the Wonka experience. But, like Swell Entertainment said in her video, check out that video by the way, that was where I heard about this information first, this event is not comparable to the Wonka experience. Because this event was put on by Mattel. Yeah, that Mattel. I don't think I've actually talked about it much on here, but I am actually a massive Barbie fan. I used to do a lot of doll photography as a hobby, and I still love Barbies and collect them on occasion. So, naturally, I have a lot of feelings on this event. Though most of my opinions on this align with a lot that has already been said on the internet. And since I'm not a commentary channel, I don't really feel the need to repeat those opinions. Because instead, I would rather come up with a better Barbie Dreamfest for you. But first, parameters and disclaimers. 1. I will not be setting a budget for this video because Mattel has a lot of money to spare and I don't feel like doing math. 2. I am basically a hermit. I haven't gone to that many conventions, so I don't really know what I'm talking about, and this video is just for fun. 3. My qualifications. I love Barbie. And I have been told in the past that I have good ideas. One of the promises that Barbie Dreamfest made and did not deliver on was a life-sized dreamhouse. For our Barbie Dreamfest, this dreamhouse will be a playground. Here's my reasons. If you look at the Barbie Dreamhouse versus a regular dollhouse, the dreamhouse is very airy, to say the least. And if you really think about it, it looks more like a playground than it does a dollhouse, complete with a slide and all. This is actually one of the reasons that, for me personally, I'm not a big fan of the dream house and prefer more traditional style dollhouses because they don't look like houses. They look like playgrounds. So, if you slightly altered a playground, painted it pink and white, and added some vinyl stickers, you could end up with a dream house, especially if you got one of those playgrounds that has a house built in. Maybe something like this? Hell, honestly, I bet Mattel could have had a partnership with a playground company to build a Barbie Dreamhouse playground. The reason the Dreamhouse was there in the first place was because it was a Volkswagen partnership. So why not partner with a playground company instead? They could build a Barbie Dreamhouse playground. That would be so cool. Then it would be correct, look the part, and it could still be a sponsorship. And it could still be sponsored in a way that I think both parents, children, and adult doll collectors would really like. Think about it. The kids that come to this convention could play on this playground at the convention, and then a few months later, that same playground might be sitting in their backyard. That's really cool. Sure, there will always be a few of the adult doll collectors that might not like this. They would be bummed that the dream house wasn't their size. But I think most adult doll collectors understand to manage their expectations on some level. Because we all understand that the core audience of clientele for Barbie is children and their parents. Next up, the movie room. In the Swell Entertainment video, she mentions that there had been a movie room showing Barbie movies, and I like this, so we will keep it. But I think if you're gonna have a movie room, you gotta lean in. So there should be pink and purple pillows on the floor, along with blankets, maybe some pink couches in the back, popcorn and snacks available for purchase out front, and they should play the music from different Barbie soundtracks in between showings. Also, they should keep the lights low in there, pink lamps and string lights. And on Saturday night, they should have a Barbie movie showing. And then, before or after the movie, they could have a Barbie movie panel. Now, just to clarify, I'm not saying have like Greta Gerwig or Margot Robbie at the convention. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is maybe a smaller actress from the film, or even someone who worked on the crew, who witnessed the making of this film. Even if this person isn't quote unquote important, like, do you know how many people it takes to make a film? There's a lot of people on sets. So there's got to be someone in a budget who was there to witness the making of this film and might have something interesting to say. And on the subject of Barbie movies, I think there should be a gaming area. A lot of anime and comic conventions have these. It's an area with a lot of desktop computers where you can play retro games. But for this convention, you could play older style Barbie games and maybe even some of their newer releases. Because basically every animated Barbie film has a video game to go along with it. And they released sort of recently a newer game as well, so that could also be available to play as a demo. And besides, at least with the older games, there's not that much gameplay anyway, maybe 30 minutes. I think this would be appreciated by attendees of all ages easily. And it would be a chance for parents to sit down and for iPad kids to do what they do best. Next up, the museum. One of the big issues with Barbie Dreamfest was how empty the convention center was. A great way to fill up a space is to build a museum. Barbie has loads of stuff in the Barbie vault. We know because Mattel will occasionally pull out these pieces for special events or documentaries. So I think some display cases with Barbie memorabilia would be really cool to see. A lot of kids today probably don't know the story of Ruth Handler and how she named Barbie after her own daughter. These are things that would be cool for them to learn. And also looking at the tiny clothes and face molds is just really cool. I think it would be great to frame this museum as Barbie through the ages, because Barbie's kind of different in every decade, and I would love to see them all lined up together. Another thing that would be cool for the museum would be to highlight different Barbie collectors and have a photo display of them with their collections. It would be a way to honor the collector side of the community, and collection photos are always really cool to look at. Most collectors also have at least one photo of them standing in front of their collection, and all you would need is their permission to include them. It would be a cheap way to take up some space and bring the community together by highlighting some of its members. People love to go and point and go, oh, I've seen them before on Instagram, or oh wow, I follow that person on TikTok. And besides, I think it feels good to be recognized by the community you're a part of. Another attraction should be a career fair. I know this sounds a little weird, but hear me out. Barbie's whole thing is that she's had like a gazillion jobs. And as a brand, Mattel has this nonprofit called the Dream Gap. When Barbie talks about the Dream Gap, they say, quote, "The dream gap for young girls still exists, but new research shows the challenges don't lie in girls lacking self-confidence or drive. The gaps often occur in the world around them. Even though progress has been made toward gender equality, stereotypes and social biases still exist that can affect a girl's trajectory and future choices. The Barbie Dream Gap Project is a global mission dedicated to closing the gap by challenging gender stereotypes and helping to undo biases that hold girls back from reaching their full potential." The Dream Gap's big thing is specifically like science and math, and how oftentimes young girls after a certain age will stop pursuing careers in science and math. So I think it'd be really cool for Barbie to have a career fair in honor of the Dream Gap and show little girls all the things that they can do. And I know that the Dream Gap initiative was present at this convention, so I think this makes sense. So why not just make it a bigger part of it? You could get reps from NASA and movie studios, from Harvard and Juilliard, get veterinarians and scientists, all sorts of people that work all sorts of jobs or represent different universities and companies, and let these young girls talk to them and maybe even have Barbies stationed at their desks that show them doing these jobs. I also know that Serena Williams was supposed to be at this convention to take photos. So why not have her give a speech in the career fair area? It could be on the premise of achieving your goals and chasing your dreams. Stuff like that. Playtest. I think Mattel should have a play test area. It should be close to the artist alley, but clearly products sold by Mattel. They could showcase some of the newer Barbie products that have yet to hit shelves and have an area where guests can actually touch and hold these items. I think it would also be smart to have some of the more gimmicky objects available to touch because those are a little bit more easily interactable. And also, this is like a slam dunk for Mattel because these photos specifically that I'm using are from the New York Toy Fair, a thing that they do every single year, and they have a display. So if they can easily make a cool display for the New York Toy Fair, then why not maybe bring that display to the convention? Next up, photo op. I think there should be a chunk of booths that have both human and doll-sized photo opportunities. But they should be the same thing. So like the same photo op in a human size and a doll sized. So people can pose the Barbies that they have there or bring their own to take photos in the photo op. See, a big part of the older doll community is doll photography. So this would be a cool way to honor them. You could even have some doll-sized versions of things at the event, like the Artist's Alley, the Career Fair, or the movie room. I think a lot of Barbie lovers would love to take a photo of their doll in the same settings that they've been in. And it'll be great for advertising because they'll totally post those photos. Speaking of dolls, event exclusive dolls. One of the complaints that Barbie Dreamfest experienced was that the VIP badge didn't get you all that much more than the regular event. I'm not exactly sure what our VIP badges would get you, but I know for certain you would get an event exclusive doll as a part of the package. These Barbies would, of course, also be available for purchase at the event gift shop. However, these sorts of dolls often sell out pretty quickly, so you would be guaranteed a doll if you got VIP. The dolls would come in two varieties, Malibu Barbie and Brooklyn Barbie, and they would be dressed like they were attendees. They would wear shirts with the logo from the event on them, comfy walking shoes with a fanny pack, and they'd be complete with their own tiny mini Barbie in hand. I think they would also be pretty cool if they had shopping bags or water bottles that match the ones sold at the event. Furthermore, if Mattel is smart, they would have these doll outfits available as fashion packs as well. So you can buy the clothes for your Barbie instead for cheaper. Especially since a lot of adult doll collectors have what they call mini-me Barbies, which are Barbies that they've altered to look just like them. And they would probably want to take the clothes off of Barbie or Malibu and put them on their doll instead anyway. So it's just a cheaper, better option for them. Let's talk Artist Alley. Obviously, for purchase, there would be a Mattel shopping area, but I also think the Artist Alley should have fan-made merch, vintage dolls being sold, handmade doll clothes, and fancier doll-sized miniatures, and of course, Artist Alley classic staples, things like prints and enamel pens and even t-shirts. Next up, let's talk panels. So, we've already said a few of these. The Serena Williams speech, of course, the Barbie movie panel, but also, I think that there should be more fan-led panels. So I think they should have a panel that is led by doll collectors and also maybe one that is led by doll photographers. And maybe even the doll photographers could teach some classes on how to do this, how to make it look like your doll is in scale with the world around them. And I think there should also be some panels on sewing Barbie clothes for your own dolls. There should also be an event-led panel for the new Barbie fantasy book that's releasing soon. They probably won't be able to say too much since it hasn't been released yet, but they could let the author do a Q&A with pre-approved fan questions. This could help build hype for the book, and they could even hand out some bookmarks at the end that are themed around the new Barbie book. I think that would be really cool, and honestly, I would have loved to see the video of that. Lastly, the last event-led kind of panel would be the Barbie fashion designers. Barbie has had a lot of fashion designers make her clothes over the years. And I think it would be really cool for some of those designers to come onto a panel and talk about their process. I would love to see them show off the sketches that they made for Barbie's clothes and what those sketches eventually turned into. And I think that's really important, right? Because when telling the story of Barbie, we often get lost in the Ruth Handler of it all. But Barbie became the icon we know her as today because of the work of so many unsung creatives who came together to make her who she is. When people hear the name Mattel, they often think of a sinister monopoly. But it's more complicated than that. Partially because Hasbro actually owns Monopoly, but also because Barbie isn't the brainchild of a greedy billionaire company that wants to corrupt the minds of your children. It was the creation of Ruth Handler, a business owner and mother who wanted her daughter to dream as big as her son. That was then passed through the hands of hundreds of creatives that had to do their jobs with Mattel breathing down their neck to not do a single controversial thing. And so, for my Barbie Dreamfest, I think we should highlight those creatives. We all know Ruth Handler, but she didn't design Barbie's clothes or sculpt her features. She didn't design the pop and lock rubber knees as much as she wishes she did, but that's a story for a different day. If Mattel doesn't want to look like an evil overlord, then they should highlight the people that work for them. And they should make it fun. And most importantly, they should make it pink. Thank you for your time. Please leave any comments or questions down below. Goodbye!